Gold or poisonous snake. Lessons on how to use wealth according to Buddha's teachings. Hello everyone. Today we will explore a meaningful story from the time of Buddha. This story is not only a lesson in how to perceive and use wealth, but also a profound reminder of the true value of life. In this video, we follow a woodcutter's journey from his accidental discovery of a treasure to the unexpected consequences it brings. Through it, we will understand why the Buddha called gold and silver treasures poisonous snakes, and how we can use wealth wisely and ethically. Let's listen and reflect on this valuable lesson. It will help us to reconsider how we treat money and wealth in our daily lives. Hope you enjoy the video and gain many useful lessons. Gold or poisonous snake? Lessons on how to use wealth according to Buddha's teachings. Once upon a time, on a warm sunny day when the Buddha was still alive, he and his two great disciples, Ananda and Ananda, went down from Vulture Peak Mountain to the capital to beg for alms. The road was winding through the green hillsides. The air was fresh and peaceful. Suddenly, when passing a landslide, the Buddha's sharp eyes discovered a strange object. He stopped, pointed to a carefully sealed jar, and said to Ananda, "Hey Ananda, do you see this as a poisonous snake?" Ananda, with absolute respect and trust in the Buddha's wisdom, replied, "World-honored one, it is indeed a terrifying poisonous snake." By chance, a woodcutter standing nearby overheard the conversation. Curious and worried, he hurriedly went to examine the poisonous snake that the Buddha had mentioned. But when he opened the jar, his eyes lit up with surprise and joy. Instead of a poisonous snake, he saw a glittering treasure. Pure gold and precious gems filled the jar. He chuckled to himself, thinking that the Buddha and his disciples did not know the value of these things, and even called them poisonous snakes. Greed arose. The woodcutter carefully carried the jar home, full of excitement. Before leaving, he happily exclaimed, "I pray that this poisonous snake will always bite me and my parents, wife, children, and relatives. I will not feel any pain at all." He did not expect that those unintentional words would become a prophecy of his future fate. In no time, the woodcutter's life changed completely. From a poor man, he became a wealthy man, living in luxury. His house was magnificent. His fields and gardens were vast. He had many servants, and he had plenty of cattle, buffalo, and vehicles. This sudden wealth made the whole village excited and suspicious. Rumors of his unusual wealth spread quickly, eventually reaching the ears of King Ajatasattu. King Ajatasattu sent a messenger to inquire, "Have you taken the king's secret treasure?" The messenger asked. The woodcutter, now a wealthy man, replied hesitantly, "I am rich. I have not received anything from the king." This ambiguous answer only increased the king's suspicions. King Ajatasattu decided to meet the man himself. When asked again, he kept the same answer. Thinking that he was a liar, the king ordered the confiscation of all his property and sentenced not only him but also his family and relatives to death. In that moment of despair, the man realized the wise warning of the Buddha. He cried and shouted, "Oh Ananda, what a poisonous snake! A poisonous snake is biting me and my relatives." Fortunately, according to King Ajatasattu's law, if anything unusual happened on the way to escort the prisoner to the death row, it had to be reported immediately. Hearing the man's strange cries for help, the soldiers returned to report to the king. King Ajatasattu, with the wisdom of a Buddhist, guessed that something was strange and sent the man back. This time, under the pressure of imminent death, he revealed the whole truth about the golden jar and the Buddha's warning. After hearing the story, King Ajatasattu was deeply moved by the Buddha's compassion and wisdom. He said to the man, "Your crime deserves death, but fortunately you have met the Buddha. I am also a Buddhist, so I will spare you and your family. You are allowed to keep your property and jewels, but remember to change your mind, practice good deeds, and wholeheartedly make offerings to the Triple Gem." Having been spared, the man was extremely happy and grateful. From then on, he changed completely, focusing on practicing, doing good deeds, and making offerings to the Triple Gem. Thanks to his merit and sincerity, not long after, he attained liberation. This story leaves a profound lesson. We must master money. Do not let money master us. Gold, silver, and wealth can be blessings, but can also become poisonous snakes if we do not know how to use them wisely and ethically. The story of the woodcutter and the golden jar is not just a simple story, but also contains profound lessons about Buddhism and the way of life. Let's summarize 3 important lessons from this story. 1. Impermanence and the nature of material wealth. The first and most important lesson that the story teaches is about the impermanence of material wealth. The Buddha called gold and silver poisonous snakes, not because of their evil nature, but because of the way they can affect the human mind. Material possessions, like everything else in life, are impermanent. They can come and go quickly, like the woodcutter who suddenly became rich and then almost lost everything. This reminds us not to be too attached to material possessions, as they are not a source of lasting happiness. Instead, the Buddha taught us to seek more lasting spiritual values, such as wisdom, compassion, and enlightenment. These are truly eternal treasures that never fade away and always bring true happiness. 2. Greed and its consequences. The second lesson concerns greed, one of the roots of suffering according to Buddhist teachings. The woodcutter, upon discovering the treasure, let greed control his actions. Not only did he keep the information secret, but he also used the wealth unwisely, leading to suspicion and trouble. Not only does greed blind us to wise advice, as the Buddha warned, it can also lead to thoughtless actions that harm ourselves and others. In the case of the woodcutter, greed brought him to the brink of death and nearly destroyed his family. The Buddha taught us how to overcome craving through the practice of mindfulness, reflecting on the impermanent nature of all things, and developing compassion. When we can view material possessions objectively and use them wisely, we will avoid the poisons they can bring. 3. The power of repentance and transformation. The third and most hopeful lesson from this story is the power of repentance and the ability of human beings to transform. The woodcutter, despite his mistakes, eventually realized his mistakes and changed his ways. The Buddha taught that all beings have Buddha nature and the ability to become enlightened. No one is beyond redemption. No sin is unforgivable if one truly repents and makes an effort to practice. The story shows that even if we have gone astray, we can still turn around and find the right path. The transformation of the woodcutter from a greedy man to a sincere Buddhist, and eventually to liberation, is a testament to the power of the Buddha Dharma to transform the human mind. It reminds us that it is never too late to start practicing and doing good. The story of gold or snake is not only a lesson in the use of wealth, but also a profound reminder of the core values of Buddhist teachings. It teaches us about the impermanence of material things, the dangers of greed, and the limitless potential of human transformation. In modern life, when material wealth is often highly valued, this story becomes even more meaningful. It reminds us that true happiness lies not in owning a lot of wealth, but in how we use it to benefit ourselves and others. Remember, material wealth is just a means, not the purpose of life. Instead of chasing after wealth, we should focus on cultivating our souls, developing wisdom and compassion. Only then can we use the venom snake wisely, turning it into a tool to bring happiness to ourselves and those around us. Finally, always remember the Buddha's teaching: be yourself, be your own refuge. Do not seek refuge from outside. Only when we can master our own mind, not be dominated by greed, anger, and delusion, can we be truly free and happy, regardless of external circumstances. Dear ladies and gentlemen, you have just listened to a video from the Buddhist Folktales collection, which is broadcast at 7 p.m. every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday on the YouTube channel Buddhist Story, Master You. We sincerely thank you for watching. To not miss the upcoming episodes, please remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. If you find the content useful, please share this video with your family and friends. Your feedback is very valuable to us. Please leave a comment below the video so we can discuss and share together. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Namo Sakyamuni Buddha.